No matter where we are in the world, the moon shines down on us from high in the night sky. It has been orbiting our planet for over 4 billion years, yet how often do we actually stop and think about its place in our existence? Throughout history, the moon has been considered a significant symbol of worship for many ancient civilizations. The Incas worshipped a moon goddess named Mamakea, who was the deity of marriage, the menstrual cycle, and considered a protector of women. In Native American mythology, the sun and the moon were thought to represent a chieftain and his wife, with the stars as their children. The moon plays happily with the stars whilst the sun is sleeping, but as he appears, they flee from the sky in fear of being caught. And for the Baganda people of Central Africa, the moon represented good fortune. For them, it was customary for a mother to bathe her newborn child by the light of the first full moon, so as to bless it with health and wealth. In fact, the moon has held many associations in cultures all over the world for thousands of years. Regardless of our individual religions, cultures, or beliefs, the moon, like the sun, is a universal entity that has helped to shape the world we live in today. As days become weeks and weeks become months, we see cycles all around us, a continuous flowing rhythm, just like the cycle of the moon. As time surpasses us, change is inevitable. But in a world consumed by rapidly expanding technology, hedonistic desires, and material obsession, I begin to wonder, what significance does the moon have now in the 21st century? Now, in 2012, the greatest global gathering to worship this celestial body is the legendary full moon party, held on the shores of Koh Phangan, Thailand every month. The celebration takes place on the beach of Hadrin Nok and attracts thousands of people every lunar cycle from all over the globe. I'm curious as to what brings all these people together to observe the time of the full moon, so I went to investigate. But does this pilgrimage still resonate with ancient beliefs of the moon's spiritual significance? Or has it just become a mindless pursuit of self-indulgence for the masses? I'm going to speak with a group of travellers in an attempt to find out. Have you been here before?
Yeah.
I've never.
Yes.
You have?
10 years ago.
10 years ago? Wow.
Before the tsunami.
It's my first
Okay.
time.
What is it about the this particular place that attracted you?
Probably the drugs.
The drugs? Okay. Anything specifically?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms. Cool. Sounds interesting. I've heard a lot about these special shakes, they call them, right? What is it about the moon that attracts you to it?
Because the best view in the world for the moon is in Hadrin.
There was tourists came to Hadrin and they find the moon very special, and from this time they start to make party on the beach.
What do you think that if you take the mushrooms and look at the moon, how does it? You think it might make you?
The thing about the mushroom makes you to see a lot of colors.
So when you look at the moon, you think it will
Be more special.
more special.
Even the clouds. Most of the people that don't know about the view of the moon before they see it. No? They heard about the full moon party, but they don't know how special the full moon actually is.
I think it's just a reason
For me, the moon
party.
is like just the name of the party, the full moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the name of the
Just a
party,
reason
where
to
full
party.
moon.
What's the worst thing that you've seen? You think?
Only see a few fights, and one time I see one guy rape a girl on the beach.
You
Oh my
saw?
God.
There was people help him, help the girl, but they was drinking mushroom. I don't know what happened.
Because of all the story, I don't drink something like mushrooms or eating some drugs. So I need to take care of myself. You know, to take care of this
Two kids.
two kids.
But they say here in the full moon, they say not to go alone, only to go in a group or with friends.
Because you can lose your mind.
So I don't know if any of you are aware of this, but the full moon in February, which is today, actually coincides with Parinirvana Day, which is like the anniversary of the death of Buddha. Do you think? I mean, do any of you know about this? Any? No.
No, I didn't know.
Shlami, you know about Parinirvana Day?
No, I don't know.
It's the,
You explained it this morning, but
the
I didn't.
anniversary of the death of Buddha.
Anniversary of that.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if any of you know. Do you think anybody else has any idea?
I never heard about it.
I never heard about
many
it. It's the
people.
first time I heard about it.
On Parinirvana Day, Buddhists spend time reflecting on the three marks of existence, one of which is the law of impermanence. Buddha believed that personal attachment to anything physical would only result in future suffering. Therefore, on this day, Buddhists are expected to perform a type of deep meditation called Vipassana, which means to see things as they really are. The purpose of this is to stimulate awareness into the true nature of reality. How are you going to be celebrating the full
I'm gonna have some fun, make some parties, be drunk, celebrate all night,
Meet
and
people.
to sleep for 3 days.
I mean, actually, I want to be, more open to meet other people.
Yeah.
I don't want to get drunk or something like this because I want
Just
to
be in a good mood.
Yeah, good mood to party, to celebrate, to to see different people, different cultures. I don't know.
And what about you? How are you going to be celebrating? full moon?
It's very hard because sometimes I just go with the flow, but how I think now, I want a little bit quiet.
So you don't want to be in the middle of all the drunken, crazy party?
No, I just want a peace of mind, look at the moon, have a good time.
It's the night of the full moon party, and there is an unmistakable buzz of excitement in the air. With a population of only 15,000, Koh Phangan was once an idyllic island paradise. But with up to 30,000 people now attending the full moon party each month, how do they cope with this immense influx in tourism? Before I venture into the madness, I'm going to speak with a local man named Sol, who works in the Hadrin area. I'm interested to hear his opinions on how this monthly celebration has affected the island, and whether he believes it is the actual moon that draws people here, or something else altogether. So, how long have you lived in Hadrin, first of all?
I've been like over 12 years.
Over 12 years? Wow, okay. And obviously you've seen a lot of full moon
A
parties.
lot of full moon party, yeah.
How many have you seen, do you think?
1 a month, so 1 year is like 12 full moon party. party.
So everyone you've been
Every
to.
single full moon I've been there.
Do you think, for example, compared with 12 years ago when you
Yeah.
first come here, now you think there is overall more people or less people?
But some years and some years different. Now it's like when I start riding 12 years ago, and now it's busier.
Now it's busier, right? And what about the types of people that come? Do you think when they come here, do you think they come because to celebrate
Yeah.
the moon,
Yeah.
or you think they come just to have party and get drunk?
Yeah, only for like just for party. They don't care anything else. They just come to party, get drunk, have a good time. Not for the moon or like not really. When the full moon party started, like about 50 people. Only one place. Now it's like the whole beach. The full moon party beach is like 20,000 people.
And it's good for you because of for business?
Yeah, for me, for Thai people, like it's good for business.
So did you work here in Coral Bungalows for
Yeah.
the whole time you've been here?
No, I work on Paradise Bungalow 6.5 years.
Which is where the full moon party
Yeah,
started?
the started place, yeah.
The first full moon party was held in the mid-80s by a Thai man named Sooty. It began as a modest farewell gathering for a small group of travellers, and according to the locals, all you could hear back then were the sounds of insects in the jungle. But as word spread, the full moon party boomed into what is now the biggest beach party on the planet.
Full moon party, like this year, like we all the customers they have to pay 100 baht for getting. That's from community. They have community. They keep that money and they make for the beach clean, and they have security, safe area on the beach. A few years ago, like the people that on the full moon party night, like every 1 year should be a couple of like 3-4 people, like tourists, that we didn't know. Someone sleep on the beach, and under the body like electric wire, nobody knows. So everyone thought he's pissed. He just sleep. In the morning, he's gone.
Does that happen a lot? Like, have you seen?
Yeah, a few years ago, but this year really much better.
Okay, and are you a Buddhist?
Yeah, I'm Buddhist.
You are, because actually I heard that this full moon party is Parinirvana Day. It's like the anniversary of the death of Buddha.
Yeah.
And we actually thought that the full moon party was going to be on the 8th, but I think because of this reason, it's been moved to the
Moved to
7th.
the 7th, yeah.
Yeah, so the people that come to this full moon party, do you think they have any idea? They know that this is a special day?
I don't think so. Everyone they thought like on the 8th, they didn't know why 7. They think should be like from government or from police or from king birthday or queen birthday or thing like that. That day is like we must do something good thing, not drinking, not the bad thing, not drugs. Only do like the good things. Yeah.
After hearing this, I decided I needed to see the celebrations for myself. Even at a glance, it is distinctly apparent how much of an influence the Western world has had on this once remote Thai island. Judging by my surroundings, I could easily be somewhere like Ibiza or even Ayia Napa. Cheap buckets of bargain booze are being sold for as little as £3, so it is hardly surprising that, for some, the night is set for a premature end.
How's your night going? Well, quite nice. We've just arrived today. We're going to find a place to stay.
David, you take a photo of us at the table right now?
I can do that. Say,
I love sitting in the pavement. Yeah.
Though everybody appears to be thoroughly enjoying themselves, I find the scene before me somewhat ironic. On a day that is supposed to symbolise selflessness and detachment from the superficial, I find it funny how I am witnessing exactly the opposite.
My brother's wife.
Why the fully green?
Because, what are you? You're right.
Down on the beach, the party is in full swing, but I wonder whether any of these partygoers have taken even a moment tonight to think about the moon.
What happened to you?
Tiger accident.
Take a picture for a record.
Different. I think I need 2 to 17 buckets more.
Okay, well, good luck with that.
And as the party winds down, I am left with the impression that the moon and the natural beauty of Thailand is the last thing on everybody's minds. The morning after, and life begins its transition back to normality for the Thai people. The streets are now almost deserted, and the travellers begin to depart the island. Most of the full moon party crowd begin the 2-hour boat journey to the smaller neighbouring island of Koh Tao, which is renowned for its beautiful coral reefs. Considering the moon's dramatic effect on the tides, I wonder how the full moon may affect what goes on beneath the waves, so I set off with the masses to investigate. A marine conservationist from the Big Blue Diving Centre kindly agrees to talk to me.
So here in the Gulf of Thailand, there are 3 islands in our area. There's Koh Tao, Koh Phangan and Koh Samui. And Koh Phangan has a traditional full moon party every full moon. And it attracts thousands and thousands of tourists. Generally the partygoers, and they all congregate on one beach. Obviously that's going to have a bit of an impact. First of all, noise from the big raving music. That noise, fish can actually communicate with each other with noises, so do shrimp, so do other larger mammals, marine mammals. So we don't know the effects that noise actually will have on them, but it will disturb them in some way. We have seen it with turtles. Turtles that used to lay on a non-populated island will now stay away from an island that is heavily populated due to noise levels and also light. But saying that, there aren't that many reefs around Koh Phangan, simply because the corals haven't been able to grow there, either due to tourism, but probably most likely due to just the wrong ecological conditions. So it's not so much of a direct impact on Koh Phangan. But then they throw cigarette ends on the beach, like it's one big ashtray, straws and buckets and drink bottles and stuff, they all get thrown. And the currents do take all of the full moon party rubbish. It does tend to come towards Koh Tao. So we do have our reefs here, and that rubbish might end up on our reefs, especially plastic bags, straws, cigarette ends, all of these kind of things. We end up having to clean them up. And you do notice a bit of an increase in the amount of rubbish on our beach a couple of days after the full moon party has been, because they've all got, all that rubbish has then started to float over here. But then we also get all those tourists who were from the full moon party, they all come over to Koh Tao, and we become really, really busy here. So then we get the direct impact of the tourism. on our island as well. So all that rubbish is directly being thrown off our island now, and it's not just coming in the currents. Unfortunately, there has been occasions where we found dead marine animals up on the island, and we always find, whenever we find a dead marine animal, we measure it and we send it for an autopsy. Plastic bags and turtles, cigarette ends and fish, these have been found, and unfortunately they're the most frequent reason for death of marine life on our island. We don't know the full impact that the full moon party has on our ecosystem, but it doesn't tend to be positive. So the full moon affects when corals spawn. Corals generally on Koh Tao spawn in April and March, and in September and October, and they spawn about 4 days after full moon. The reason for this is because the full moon affects the tidal depth, so the depth of the water and the temperature of the water dictate when the coral spawns, and they'll release all of their eggs and sperm into the water, or mix in the water column, form fertilised eggs, and they'll be carried off in the water currents. And you can see all the eggs when they float up to the surface, because they're like gas-filled, what's called a planula, gas-filled planula. They float up to the surface and they get carried along in the currents. And then when the embryo inside it starts to grow, it displaces that air, and then they start to sink and they bounce around on the bottom of the substrate, and they do what's called settling. They find somewhere that they like and they start to secrete calcium carbonate, and that's where they go. However, the corals have to be pretty healthy in order to spawn. It takes a lot of their energy. Their priorities for the nutrients that they get go towards growing themselves, defending themselves against infections, preventing, surviving predation, things like this. Only if they're really, really healthy will they actually spawn.
This sounds incredible, and I want to see it for myself, which means that firstly, I need to learn how to dive. This isn't an easy task, but it's well worth the effort once I get underwater and begin to reconnect with nature. I soon realised that if I have any chance of catching this coral spawning on camera, I must learn to film underwater as well. Back on the surface, I am reminded that coral spawning occurs at a very precise moment, and that capturing it is always a challenge, even for the experts, but I'm at least determined to try. Night diving is a completely different experience, not only due to the darkness, but the marine life itself. I'm mesmerised by how peaceful and harmonious it is down here, especially compared to the mayhem of the full moon party above the water. I'm eager to see how the moon affects a place which remains untouched by our man-made ideologies. Though commonly mistaken for a plant, coral is in fact a type of animal and the only living organism visible from space. We may question what relevance coral has to us as humanity, but as it was one of the first creatures to evolve on this planet, our very existence is probably owed in part to its. Unfortunately, we appear to have missed the coral spawning by a matter of minutes. Although I'm disappointed, this is a prime example of how delicate and precise nature is. It will be October by the time it's ready to spawn again, so here is an idea of what it would have looked like. Throughout my journey, I have heard and seen many perspectives on the significance of the moon in the modern world. For most, it seems, it is just another excuse to party and escape from the stresses of their everyday lives. And I don't blame them really. But learning how synchronised nature is with the moon's energy has really made me think. If only we stopped for a moment to remind ourselves that we too are part of nature, maybe we wouldn't try so hard to escape from it.